Hi, welcome to So Sensible. Today we're going to make a t-shirt rag quilt. I found this really cool pattern online and I thought it was such a genius way to save these shirts. We all have these shirts hanging around our house from events or trips, and this is just a really simple way to enjoy them without having to wear them. So first thing you're going to do is you need a t-shirt. I've got this one from here at Channel 15, and I'm going to I've got my cutting board here. This is my ratty cutting board. I use this for basically cutting things that aren't very forgiving to the healing board. So I like to put mine inside the t-shirt. Now, you can pick out whatever size you want. I found this in my stash of stuff, and I thought this is the perfect size for a t-shirt patchwork, right? And you just want to get it really centered on there. The one thing about t-shirts is they kind of get wonky as you own them. They stretch as you wear them and wash them, and so if you can't get it perfect, that's okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your rotary blade and you're going to cut it out. Make sure that you're on the mat so you don't cut through. So there you have your square, okay? So you're going to need a back piece too. That's what's so great about this pattern, is it uses the front and the back. So you've got this is your back, right? Okay. And you're going to do it all over again. So this is really handy if you've got one of those shirts with, like a concert shirt with dates in the back or something like that. So you would just flip it over on the cut side, and you would just cut another. Now this, so you have something that looks like this. These are great rags for cleaning up paint, whatnot. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out the batting. So the batting is actually polar fleece, and you can get this pretty cheap at any fabric store. I love how this works because fleece is really warm, and it also is it just works really well for any project. And it adds a pop of color. So you're going to cut this out just like you did with your shirt. So you have another piece. Now, what you need to do then is you're going to take your shirt, and you got your front and your back, right? And you need to put your front on it. And you're going to smooth it. And sometimes when you get it on there, you're like, uh-oh, I didn't cut this enough, but you just got to smooth it, and it usually fits. But you don't want to force it because you don't want to stretch it, because then it's going to have more problems down the road. And you're going to pin it, and I over pin it. So I like to pin it on the flats and on the corners. And then what you're going to do is you're going to flip it over. And remember what's top, okay? So then you're going to go like this. Okay, so after you pin the back, you want to check the front again, because I don't know what it is, but they always tend to shift. You can see it right here. They shifted, okay? So you're just going to want to fix that now. Okay, then it's a good idea to find the middle. So you're just going to hold it like this. And you're going to find the middle. And then you're going to do it the other way. Of course, you don't have to do it this way. If you want to just wing it, you're welcome to do so. It really doesn't matter if it's in the middle. It still looks awesome. It could be a wonky line. It doesn't matter. It always looks awesome. Okay, so I'm going to take this to the machine. So when I use this machine, I use a walking foot on it and I use a straight stitch. A walking foot kind of eases the top layer and the bottom layer so that they all go together at the same time. Usually your sewing machine just has a walking feet on the bottom and that only pulls one side of it. Because you're using 3 layers and it's kind of wiggly fabric, you're going to want to get a walking foot. So one of the cool things about the fabric you're using is it has stretch to it. So if you find that you've sewn one side and then you're going to sew the other one and you see a bubble coming, you can kind of ease into it if you catch it soon enough so that it doesn't have a big fold and crease right as you get to the second stitch. Okay, so now we have it sewn and there's an X on it. Okay. So you're going to smooth it out the best that you can. And then you're going to sew it to the rest of the pieces. So I've already gotten this started. And this is going to go on this one. Okay, so really you want to lay out the whole quilt so that the colors aren't cozying up to each other. You don't want to have white and white and black and pink and pink. You want to make sure the whole look is cohesive. So just like a true rag quilt, you're going to see the 2 fronts and then you're going to merge them together like this. Okay, so you're going to have the seam exposed. And this is tricky. It's going to be just like you did earlier where you're going to look at both sides. But now you have 3 layers, so you want to make sure this is smooth and you want to make sure this is smooth and you want to make sure these are also all perfect. Now I use quite a bit of seam allowance. I use about 5/8. You can use whatever you want so that it just kind of hides all of the imperfections. Now the way I do it is the batting, the fleece, is really what I line everything up with. So once you get that perfect, that's where you want to pin it and then just stretch it to fit. Okay, so see, it's all bunchy over here. You want to kind of make sure that it's good. Because the worst thing that could happen is to start sewing and have it be like this. Okay, as you can imagine, if it's pinned like this, you're going to have it sewn here and it's going to be not sewn at all here. And you're going to have to seam rip it, and that's the one thing we don't want to do. Okay, so we're going to take it to the machine and we're going to sew right along here. I sew about this far in. Okay, this is what it should look like. All right, so that's one line. And then this goes on this one that I've already finished for the most part. So So this is the layout that I selected, and I'm going to just put it together. And it's actually pretty amazing how well these things line up. But again, you're using kind of a stretchy fabric, so it's very forgiving. So when you get to the seams, this is what I like to do first, is I do the seam, and I like to flatten them out so that it works better going through the machine, and it's going to clip better. I'll show you that. So this is the one that I've already worked on, so it's going to look like this. Now the difference is I've already clipped the seams. So if you look right here, I've just clipped the seams. And that's going to look like this. So usually they'd be sewn together. The first thing you would do is clip next to the corner to make sure that you can get it flat like this. And you're just going to clip it about 1/4 inch all along every seam. So you can already see, and I really suggest these hinged scissors. That's going to save you a lot of stress. So you can already see it's already starting to look really neat. I don't know if you could see that. How cool is that? One more thing is you're going to sew around the edges. You're just going to do a straight stitch around the entire thing, and you're going to clip these as well with the fringe look. It's a really simple project, and I think that it would even be good for kids to try. There's all kinds of people that could really enjoy doing this. You could do smaller sizes if you want to do kids' shirts. It makes a great gift too. You can make a memorial quilt. I mean, there's so many applications that you could use this for. Anyways, I hope that you try making one of these t-shirt quilts. Thank you for joining us at So Scentsible.